Hey there, everybody. This is David with Second Main Phase, and we are doing another Legacy Cube draft. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're in a Swiss queue here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a stipulation draft. So a stipulation draft is a draft in which you give yourself some constraints, and you sort of stick to those constraints throughout the draft. And the stipulation that I'm going to have for this draft is Super Friends. So we're going to draft every planeswalker that we see, at least unique planeswalkers. So if I have a Garruk, I'm not obliged to take another Garruk, but every planeswalker we see we're going to have to take. So that's the stipulation. We're going to try to do it and see how it goes. We're in the Swiss queue, so even if we get wrecked by some good decks, it should be pretty fun. I think planeswalkers in general are pretty powerful in the cube, so I think it'll be a fun and maybe potentially powerful thing to do. So I like doing these a little bit in the cube. You know, you get to play it a little bit. You get to understand the format a little bit better, and once you do that, you're able to have a little bit more fun. Okay, so with this pick here, I think I'm gonna take Ob Nixilis over Xenagos. Ob Nixilis is good. Xenagos is on color. We're gonna have a lot of color issues. So when we don't see planeswalkers, we're gonna be obliged to take a lot of fixing. I like Ob Nixilis because it's hard removal, which isn't guaranteed if we're drafting lots of planeswalkers. I also have the secret hope that Xenagos might wheel, as there's some other good ramp cards in this pack, like Elvish Mystic, Shardless Agent goes in those ramp decks as well. But yeah, we're just going to take Ob Nixilis there. So off to a pretty good start. I think these are, like, this Garruk is a little bit just okay. But it protects itself, spits out creatures, seems fine. Another fun stipulation to do, which is, actually sometimes a pretty good strategy is like, mono red. You decide you're only going to take the red cards and you just force mono red. But let's see where this Super Friends Planeswalker deck goes. Ideally, we pick up some of the 3-mana walkers, specifically Ashiok is really good. Liliana is obviously very good. All right, we got Elspeth here. Elspeth is sweet. I like her a lot more than Chandra, so I'm going to take her here. Yep, so those are our options. We don't have many. Chandra has a chance of wheeling. She's just okay in the cube. Yeah. If this was a regular draft, we'd probably be taking like Steam Vents or, I don't know, maybe Dreadbore or something, but let's get crazy here. All right, I'm glad that I don't have to take a Johnny, though we're probably going to get it on the wheel. I feel like if we're in a Super Friends deck, we kind of have to play Nicol Bolas because it's just super sweet. Freyalise is also nice. Yeah, just going to take Nicol Bolas here. Nicol Bolas is too sweet. All right, Nissa is a Planeswalker kind of, but it's also the card that I want here. I think ideally we end up base green to enable us to splash these, and we're going to need some early plays, and Nissa's ideal for that. So let's take Nissa. So any pack that doesn't have a Planeswalker, we're pretty much going to be taking fixing and ramp, I think, if we have the option. Cheap removal is also the kind of thing that we're looking for, but we're definitely not going to get fancy here. We're probably not going to take anything like value based. Counter magic is probably out, but you never know what's gonna come our way. But yeah, I would like some Doom Blades. I think here it's probably Badlands. Yeah, none of the rest of the cards, Stratus Dancer actually is a consideration for this deck, but let's take the Badlands here. It makes Nicol Bolas a little easier on our top end. I could also consider Battlefield Forge, but I don't think it's necessary. I could also take something like Scavenging Ooze or Pillar of Flame being okay options here, but rather just take the lands now because I know I'm going to need them. All right, Big Garruk, get in. This is sweet. Yeah, the thing is we'd probably relish a Fire Ice, but none of the other cards are even where we're trying to, would even go in our game plan anyway. So we'll just take all the planeswalkers. I suppose I didn't have to take Garruk there since I already have a Garruk, but if we're in the planeswalker deck, like we gotta have giant Garrick. All right, Windswept Heath is definitely what I'm looking for. I think over Watery Grave. They're both decent, but the fetch opens up just way more options to us. Lots of good cards in this pack. I mean, every card in this pack minus Dragon Fodder is good in the cube. Like Skin Render's fine. Rexage is just okay in this cube. It's still pretty good. You still probably main deck it if it's your only type of effect like that. But Sower, Revelark, and Mystic Snake are all A cards. But yeah, we're taking a Windswept Heath here. Deck looks awesome already. Pretty excited. All right, no fixing came around. I could consider Tangle Wire here. Not a big fan of Tangle Wire, but it might just be what we need to get us through the early game. I could also take like Slagstorm. Just have like some Wraths. Wraths could also be quite good in this deck. So yeah, let's take Slagstorm here. Our mana base is going to be awful, but hopefully we can just take a lot of fixing in these packs. Like, we're kind of excited to not open a Planeswalker in some of these because then we get to take fixing. All right, I'm going to take Shardless Agent, I believe. I think it's the best card here. Probably better than Mana Tithe or Winter Orb. Winter Orb is also interesting with a bunch of Planeswalkers, but I think Shardless Agent is just good. Like I said, hopefully we're getting some mana ramp and mana fixing, and Shardless is pretty good with those. Like if all of our 2 mana spells are just ramp spells, I'm fine playing Shardless. It's disappointing not to see any fixing come around. All right, we knew the Chandra was gonna wheel, so we're gonna take her. Yeah, sweet. Our mana base is going to be awful. We got 2 duels in that pack, so. Whoops. But look at our deck. Got all these Planeswalkers. How could we lose? Like, the games where this deck works, our opponent is just going to be, like, so frustrated. Like, play Obnexilus, kill their guy, untap, play Elspeth, untap, play Garrick, untap, play Nicol Bolas. I think that's pretty awesome. Oh man. All right. Well, Johnny wheeled. Like I said, we have to take it, so we'll take it. None of these cards. I guess Mizium Mortars is kind of okay. Yeah. Take a Mizium Mortars. It's a removal spell at least. All right. Stratus Dancer wheeled. We might play Stratus Dancer. No. Part the Water Veil actually looks sweet in this deck. Taking extra turn effects with Planeswalkers are pretty awesome. Of course, we have triple green, double black, double white, double blue, double red. But, we'll get there. I mean, at the moment, I probably don't play the part just because our mana is so bad, but... Alright, some excellent options here. I believe it is a Kiora for us, though Gideon is also pretty sweet. Nissa's okay, but not great for us. Let's take Kiora here. Yeah, this almost looks like it's an actual deck, doesn't it? All right, well, there's a Time Warp here, but there's also an Elf, and I think we're going to be pretty... There's also a Damnation, though. Options. Elves are nice. Could take, like, a Blood Crypt. Don't really want Blood Crypt because I already have Badlands. So I'm torn between Elves, Damnation, Time Warp. Like, if we take the Damnation... It puts us pretty deep into black, whereas right now I guess we're already kind of deep into black. Yeah. It's just the highest power level. Time Warp is quite good with all these Planeswalkers. That puts us heavy into blue. The problem with Fyndhorn Elves is it's not fixing. Like if this was the birds, it would be a much easier decision. I'm just gonna take the Damnation out of this pack. We'll see where that goes. All right, there's another Garrick, another Ajani. I don't have to take either of those because we already have Garrick and Ajani in this deck. I think I'm just gonna take the fixing here. Take that. Like the 4-mana Garrick is actually pretty decent. There's a chance we wheel it though out of that pack. Pack was, I don't know. That the 4-mana Garruk, like, sorry, the Innistrad Garruk, not the 4-mana Garruk. So there's the Garruk Wild Speaker and then Garruk Relentless. Garruk Relentless is very good in attrition-y based decks, but not very good in, you know, the kind of deck that we're building here, which, you know, a pile of jank, but I think Stomping Ground or Wood Elves is what I want here. The unfortunate thing is that if I have Wood Elves, I'd kind of like Stomping Ground in the deck. None of these other cards are particularly interesting to me. Wood Elves does represent some ramp. I'm going to take the Stomping Ground here. Well, no, I'm going to take the Wood Elves. Hope to wheel some more duels. All right, there's a Trop here and a Scalding Tarn. Scalding Tarn finds Badlands. Trop is green-blue, which is nice because I think we want to be base green for this deck. Yeah, what do I want more? Trop I can already find enough of Windswept Teeth, but Scalding Tarn opens up getting Badlands. I'm going to take the Trop here. I know, like, I'm not going to wheel the Scalding Tarn, but I think it's just better. Alright, I could take an Anger of the Gods as just another sort of cheap anger. Or sorry, another cheap Wrath effect. Yeah, I think that's what I want for this deck. Though that does make like Nissa and Wood Elves a little bit awkward. Also, Shardless Agent probably not making the main. Stratus Dancer also probably not making the main. Yavimaya Elder's not bad actually. Right, it's 2 basics, right? So yeah, Yavimaya Elder is a blocker that ramps us, or that fixes us at least. So I think I'm going to take it here over any of these other cards. Control Magic is also quite good. Could consider it. Just going to take the cheaper card. Our deck's got such a high curve that every mana matters, I think. We could really use like Search for Tomorrow or some of the 2 mana ramp spells. Okay, so it's going to be a land here. Dragonskull Summit versus Caves. For Caves, we've got Elspeth and a Johnny right now. We don't even want to really play a Johnny. I think Dragonskull Summit makes more sense. We've got a lot of black and red spells, so I'm just going to snap it up. All right, this is actually looking playable. It looks really horrible, but I think we can make it work. Our mana is getting better, and we've got some more options for our main deck. So, all right. This Martial Coup is kind of interesting here. Progenitus also. Progenitus is like stupid. Like we're never gonna cast it, but I guess we can put. No, sorry, wrong Garruk. One of the Garruks you can just put a creature into play, but it's the 6-mana Garruk. Dark Petition's not very good. Yeah, I think I'll just take Martial Coup here. I'm probably not going to play it, but just put it in for now. All right, Blood Crypt came back. I think we're obliged to take it. Stroke would be fun. Maybe I just want to be fun. Bloodbraid Elf would kind of be fun, but just take the Blood Crypt. Just makes our black and our red mana a lot easier in this deck full of double black and double red cards. Yeah, this deck kind of makes sense. The Wood Elves, Nissa, Yavimaya Elder don't quite make a ton of sense with all our Wraths and stuff, but they kind of get there. We would love like a Sakura Tribe Elder, or like Sakura Tribe Elder. We wouldn't mind Search for Tomorrow. Any of those rampy things in our lower end of our curve. Deck is sweet. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play. Definitely need more fixing, but we're actually not in a horrible spot, because right now our blue is pretty light. I think we're at the spot where we can actually play the part in this deck because of Tropical Island. If we get one more fetchable blue piece, then part's not going to be a problem. Nicol Bolas is already not a problem. Kiora doesn't look to be awful. All right, I can take Roast here, I think, over, I mean, nothing. But, yeah, since I already have Najani, I don't need to take another one. Roast is early interaction. All right, there's another black-red fixing here. I think I can just take this. I think, like, Burst Lightning is worth a consideration, but just more fixing is just better. All right, Future Sight, sure. No, we're not going to play it. Seal of Fire might make the main, I don't know. The Future Sight is awesome, though. let's have a triple blue, triple green, double red, double black, double white. Yeah, it seems fine. I mean, Future Sight's probably not making the deck, but I can dream, right? I like that. This is such a weird deck. We've got like we've got so many red spells right now and so much red and black fixing at this point that we could be like base black red with these other weird green ramp elements. It like doesn't seem good at all, but maybe we're base like red green and then like we splash a bunch of this black stuff. All right, what do we got? Phew, no planeswalkers. All right, there's a lot of good stuff here. I think I just can't pass up on Search. It's so good for our deck. Polluted Delta and Lotus Cobra are also like just fine whatever cards, but Search is exactly the card that I was hoping to open there actually. All right, Domri Raid. Domri Raid is unplayable in this deck, but I think I have to take it because it's part of our stipulation. Oh man. Does Deathrite Shaman count? Deathrite Shaman's a planeswalker, right? Deathrite Shaman also wouldn't be good in our deck, but yeah, we have to take Domri Raid. Oops. Well, I'm not playing this Siege Gang Commander. Domri. Like, so we have 2 cards in our deck right now. Like, at least a Johnny kind of does something in that we can use a Johnny to what? Like if we build a beast or something with Garrick or some 1/1s with Elspeth or steal our opponent's creature with Nicol Bolas, we can put counters on them. But I guess we can also just work a Johnny up to ultimate and then try to use that as a win condition. But like I think Domri Raid is actually just unplayable. Like we have 3 creatures right now. And they don't even look good. Like, I mean, Nissa looks fine, but our other creatures are just like, whatever. So Domri's plus does nothing. And then Domri's minus also kind of does nothing. All right. We're pretty lucky here to get some good stuff. There's fixing for all of our colors if we want it. I think if I'm going to take any land, it's the Tundra, because it makes our blue splash a little bit better. It's a white land for Windswept Heath. Underground Sea doesn't look necessary. We already have a lot of black fixing. So yeah, I think I'm just happy taking the Tundra here. Preordain, probably not making this deck. Den Protector could possibly be a card that we'd play, but yeah, I'm just going to take Tundra here. There's a Bloodstained Mire. I like that. Yeah. I think I'm just going to take Bloodstained Mire out of this pack. Makes our black and red so good, and I guess it doesn't actually get anything else at this point, does it? But that's okay. As far as cards that we would play out of this pack, I guess like Avacyn's Pilgrim is ramp and white fixing, but pretty poor with all of our wraths. So yeah, I'm just gonna take the Mire. All right, so don't need to take another Chandra. I think I just want Terminate out of this pack. Solid removal spell. Over like Isolated Chapel. Yeah. Just take a removal spell. Our black-red is really good, so not too unhappy with that pick. If need be, we can play Martial Coup, we can play Siege Gang. These are all like reasonable cards to play. Our deck does a whole bunch of nothing for the first couple turns, which is unfortunate. All right, Elves of Deep Shadow is actually maybe the kind of card that we want over like Temple of Deceit. Just like the chance of us having elves in our opening hand is pretty important. If not this, then it's like Cunning Spark Mage for the board, Sidisi or Sphinx's Rev for the main. Neither of which I'm too excited about. Or I could take Temple. The nice thing about Temple, well, Elves or Temple. I think I'm just going to take the Elf here. Even though it's like kind of awkward with our deck, like, it could be fine. Like, if I can Elves into, like, Nissa or Wood Elves or something, that seems a lot better than just doing nothing for the first 3 turns. We want to win a lot of die rolls here. It's going to be kind of important for us to actually win some die rolls. All right. Upheaval. Well, we definitely don't want Upheaval. Terminus, though, actually looks kind of sweet. Terminus Taiga. I think it's Taiga. Taiga's important because of Wood Elves. It's fetchable off of Windswept Heath. Yeah. I mean, Terminus, don't get me wrong, I would definitely consider Terminus, but I think it's just Taiga. We already have 3 rats in the deck, so whatever. Right, Woodland Cemetery. There's also Big Garrick. I kind of like Big Garrick. But Woodland Cemetery looks good. Definitely want to play 18 lands with this deck. Do Devil's Play here. Devil's Play is an interesting option. You'll just take the fixing. Got 11 duels. This is sweet. Our opponent's going to be so confused as to what's going on. Actually, I mean, our opponents are just going to be extremely happy to be crushing us every game. But I'm going to be happy, so that's what's important. Well, this pack is interesting. Definitely can't afford to play Thespian Stage. Olivia actually looks kind of decent here. Yeah, and I think actually would make the main as well. Like, Olivia's like a not a terrible card. All right, Temple here, I'm pretty happy to take. I don't think I want any of those other cards. All right, now this one's interesting. Could take something like a War Leader's Helix, just as some more removal, and like as a way to interact. It's just very expensive. I could also take something like a Cures Follower, but our blue splash looks pretty light. I could take like a Wall of Omens. Regrowth. Regrowth is kind of interesting. I think I'm just going to take, like, maybe Cat. Let's take the Helix. Whatever. That was a weird pick. I'm going to take Yavimaya Coast here. Pretty easy. Just all the fixing we can get. All right, Condemn is actually sweet. And might make the main. Like, over, like, the Seal of Fire, maybe. How does our white sources look? We've got Windswept Heath, Tundra. Actually, not so great. We wield Upheaval. I don't think we can afford to play Upheaval in this deck. There aren't a lot of decks that can afford to play Upheaval. Yeah, Condemn. How can I make Condemn work with just Tundra? Is that really? That's really all the white fixing we got? Elspeth and Ajani are going to be awkward to cast. So I guess, yeah, Condemn is out. Seal of Fire is back in. If I'm making a cut here, it is... I mean... Realistically, if I was allowed to cut something, it would be Domri Raid and Ajani and put in some real spells, but we had a stipulation, folks, so we're sticking to it. Could just do 23, play 17 lands. If I do that, let's move these over. So my black and red fixing actually looks amazing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6 black red plus no, that's it. I have six black red. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black sources and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red sources. Plus I'm playing a mountain and a swamp, so that seems totally fine. For green, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's also pretty good. And then for white. So for white, I think I'm only going to be able to afford Tundra basic plains, which is unfortunate, which means like Elspeth is almost uncastable, but I don't think I have any options on that. For blue, I've got Temple of Mystery, Trop, Tundra, Yavimaya Coast. That seems fine. I don't have too much blue, so actually, like, I don't even need to add basic island at all. So yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do is add definitely one mountain, one swamp. They're saying one forest. So this puts me to, yeah, and then I can add like one basic plains. Yikes. I mean, I could make a cut here and afford to play like another forest, I guess. So hold on, for green, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 green sources. That actually seems fine. And then red, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as well. 8 red, and then for black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Also seems fine. Maybe I can shave a black source since I don't need black. Like I need double black a little bit later, but I don't need black immediately. So yeah, I'm gonna shave the swamp. And what am I gonna put in instead? Probably just a mountain or a forest. Yeah, let's just add another forest to the deck. Especially because I also have Elves of Deep Shadow to potentially give me black fixing. All right, so this deck is awful, but it looks really fun, and it actually looks like the power level, the ceiling on the power level is high enough that I think we could actually steal a few games here. So pretty excited to run it. I'll see you guys in round